Good evening, welcome to Ubuntu channel. It's a Saturday evening, just like any other Saturday, when we get to bring to you my point of view. I'll be your host, 1 hour, 30 minutes, depending on the stories that we do have, tonight. And it will be our pleasure for you to participate right on this program. You can join us by clicking the link to share right in the comment section. Then you get to add your voice to the stories that we shall bring to you this evening. And right on the program, I'll be joined by Himba right here, Himba Malambo, not forgetting Mr. Mukeleba, and Himba is right with me. Himba, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Chaza. Good evening, viewers. It's nice to be with you. I missed you. And I'm hoping that we are going to have a very exciting and interesting program together. Over to you, Chaza.
Indeed, it's been a long time and we've been missing you indeed right here.
Chaza, I had to take time off, especially from you. I don't deal with men who are broke. Needing another God, not you. If you don't have God, I've got nothing to do with you.
We definitely understand that a man is no man without money and gold. Mr. Mkelewai, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Chaza. Good evening, Himba. Good evening, viewers. It's good to be here to go through the stories that made headlines this week. Otherwise, thank you.
Definitely, it's good to have you here. You and me have got a challenge that no man is a man without money and gold.
No, we don't want to create forced inflation.
If you don't even have a helicopter.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are real people that deal with reality. We don't want shortcuts in life because we know that shortcut in life actually has a very short life span as well. So we would rather be real and original and make money honestly, unlike busy taking advantage of other human beings. So kuti wafu apo fe bwangu wafisha n'okufisha fye oleshayinira abantu.
I think I do agree with you, and I remember JK sang a song that it's better to eat carpenter, katapa or anything like that, as long as you are happy and have all sorts of things.
You men, don't justify yourself just because you don't have money. Don't start justifying. No.
No, we are just telling you about real happiness. We've seen people. Mr. Mkelewai, I think we need to back down for now because it looks like the lady we are, up against is so, hooked up and dipped, in gold and money.
We want women now to be working hard as well. Let them become rich so that they can spoil us men instead of waiting for us to be rich. That's why we steal, because we are being pushed.
Yeah, that's
the problem. Ngati taba ngamatigwira mutilekerera way is crazy, alapenanga crazy, why is he a thief? But before he was caught, you are busy enjoying all the nice things. But once he's caught, once we find out where the source the money has been coming from, nishina mnyumba vonse vazanda na wakazi vonse bakupinda mukira awe tetingu pwekuli kabolala, but she knew.
No plan.
But I think we need another time to have an in-depth kind of reflection on this issue, because I know it's definitely a topical issue. For now, let's get straight into the program. Let's take a look at the first story, and we see you on the other side.
near the tip of the tower before he finally came down, sending crowds into cheers. According to Grapevine, he had climbed the tower in protest over the Zambia Army recruitment exercise. This was at Mkandawiro grounds, opposite Arakan Barracks in Lusaka. The crowds did not tire as they watched rescue efforts unfold for over 6 hours. But after several hours attracting crowds, he was finally persuaded to come down by what was handed to him. He has since been identified as Moses Sichone. Despite coming down, Sichone has caught the attention of renowned government and society. Meanwhile, in the background of whatever was happening, prayers were also at play. Eyewitnesses share their own views on the matter.
So what I think they must do to him, he just like immediately has to go into police custody because it doesn't make sense.
Certain things are, it can be spiritually, but according to my view or what I can just say is that the guy wasn't right, because we've all been left out. We all need jobs. So, but like the step that he took, I think for my part it wasn't good. Zomina chita sivinapange sense madam kozi azachita abantu wonse kuti manje bambo pofuna nchito kaskwera tumatawa tu so bamena stam guys manga on my behalf nokuba nchacha disappointed.
After close to about 6 hours of sitting on top of the mast behind me, Moses Sichone, a youth of Lusaka, has finally come down. And immediately his feet touched the ground, he was whisked away to a place of safety. Patricia Mapiki, ZNBC News, in Lusaka.
Right on, there we have it. Story, self-explanatory. Invite Mr. Mkelebai to come first. What is your viewpoint there, Mr. Mkelebai?
Thank you so much, Chaza. What that gentleman did will not go away without being without us commenting on his act of attempting suicide, because that came at the that was the first impression, that the gentleman went up on the tower to protest. That was not a protest, but his main aim was to either jump out of that place and goes down, not until they gave him a reasons to why he shouldn't. There was a negotiator, I believe, that was busy talking to him, negotiating. But according to the Zambian laws, for one who is attempting to take away his life, you're actually committing a crime. It's a crime that is punishable by a harsh punishment by the courts of law. So already that guy committed a crime, and he was going to be arrested, and is going to face. He's going to go to the courts of law. And with regards to the deal that he has made with the authorities, well, it's a contract, an oral contract, by the way. If they have given him a job, fine. But that is not the way. That protest he made by going up onto the tower, wanting to jump, and claiming now that it was the form of protest. Well, we'll just have to wait for the court to decide. But for now, what we know is that he attempted suicide, and according to the Zambian law, it is a crime to do that. And if you are, so he has to face the law. That's what I can say. And when it comes to the example has set, like one of the viewers said, it will be like now every young man who is not successfully picked to be employed has to first of all go through or make some attempts or protest in a very sophisticated or very scary way, so that the government would give a job. Government is not under any legal obligation to provide, to give every one of us jobs. They can only give jobs to a certain amount of people at a time, not everyone. And also you need to qualify. You may have all the documentation, but what if you are not healthy? Already we can tell that that gentleman, for having had the audacity to jump, to go onto the tower, we could probably talk about mental health problem here. For him to have done that, he has a mental issue, because there is no normal person that can simply do what he has done. So there already, there's a question on, even if you employ him, you give him what he wants. The position is that his credibility is now he has lowered his credibility. Nobody's going to trust and believe in him, because they will look at him as a person who is either mentally, who has a mental illness disorder that needs help. Because for one to think of going on the tower and attract so much attention by the whole nation, if anything, everyone was watching him. So to me, that was a very foolish act, and he needs to be penalized for that. Thank God he did not jump. Thank God the negotiator did their job, and they managed to bring him down. So now the job has begun. Let him undergo medical exams, find out whether he's a normal and credible person that can be left on the street to walk alone. Otherwise, he poses a danger to himself, and he is a danger even to others. So government should step in and take charge. I rest my case.
Right, Mr. Mkelewa, thank you so much. We do appreciate for that viewpoint. And unfortunately, Himba has been discharged by connectivity. I'm asking director if you can add her back so that we get to hear what she has on this particular story. Himba, welcome back, and give us your viewpoint as regards this story that we do have at hand.
Thank you so much, Chaza, and good evening, viewers, once more. Chaza, that issue, it's a very, I'd say it's a bit complicated issue to understand, because basically, if I look at him, that guy, I think his intention basically was not to commit suicide. He was just draw attention to coming. That's what he wanted. To him, probably he thinks he's a hero. Okay, anyway, he's a hero. If you could see the fire brigade, the journalists, everyone was there. But if you look the way he was dressed, he covered his face. He didn't want to be identified. And then he went there. I mean, all that 6 hours he were there. So what happened is exactly what he was looking for. It's what he wanted. But now, as Mkelewa has said, what kind of a job can he be given to him? If he wants a job in the army, already, I don't think he even deserves to work in the army. Because in the army, there are real issues. There is a training which, I mean, you really have to be mentally stable. Anything that happens, he goes on the tower. He's already a danger to whatever employment is going to be given. How do you trust him? I mean, how do you even think he's going to go on the tower? So basically, this is a very delicate situation that needs to be handled very careful. If they give him a job, is he a guy who's going to
to be responsible with whatever is going to be entrusted with. If how is his mental stability? Because definitely, as the other person alluded in the audio, that there's something wrong. I don't even think there's even spiritual. You know, the problem we have in our country, anything that happens, we relate it to spiritual. Anything it's spiritual. Takwaba fyefichitika TV, fyachitika ni society, ni act of society. You know, everything is spiritual. But basically, I think he need to be assessed. He needs to be examined, and before any job is given, let him be assessed properly. And I think it's a little bit difficult to prove if he wanted that he wanted to kill himself. He may say, no, I didn't want to kill myself. That wasn't my intention. All I wanted was that the government or the government leaders should hear my cry. Because now PS Opobali, have you seen the senior government officials who were there? So they heard him. So now they just have to handle that issue properly, because the precedents have been set. Naumbi akaya nina tiba PS balaisa, ba minister balaisa balande na ine balampele nchito. So they really have to be careful the way they handle this issue. But I also suggest that the young man should be checked, the mental capacity, how it is, and his ability to hold a response. But I'm sure even the people who are handling that case, they understand it very well, and I'm sure they know what it is and what is involved. But our fellow youths, mwika konkelesha mwaka mileka ati mwipose, and they will let you be. Even the way that guy he's setting a record that okay, people can do that and they'll be heard. Now even the government or the senior official, they've learned that of bachitabaje. So mwaka mileka mukafuila mwefya mahala. I rest my case, Charles.
Thank you so much.
I don't know. Sorry, Chaza, on that one, I don't know. I was just going through something. It seems attempting suicide in Zambia is no longer a crime. I don't know. I have to find out. I have to read through. There's some act here that talks of suicide not to be or it was maybe some it talks about it not to be a crime, but an issue to do with the mental, and people and the police should go in, and so we have to find out from the relevant authority. Let us read instead of so it is important that we do our research and find out what crime. Is it a crime for someone to attempt to kill themselves? If it is a crime, then, because what I know is it is a crime, but it seems the law has changed. So I'm yet to find out more. So my apologies if at all I gave wrong advice, but otherwise it seems that there has been some attempt to remove the offense of attempting suicide. So we can just read through and find out and come up with the right information. Thank you.
So Sam Kirawa, it being a crime or not, what could be your advice, as it were, in terms of the first position that you gave, that there must be some punitive measures?
Exactly, there has to be because from what I know, that it has been it is actually a crime, but it's only now when I'm seeing some of the documentations, I think there has been an attempt by the legislatures to decriminalize the attempt of murder. I mean the suicide. So I don't know if they succeeded or not. So that's why with the law, you have to read constantly, keep updating yourselves over, because you can't just dwell on the past. But my advice and my position I'll still maintain it, to say the gentleman needs to be remanded and taken through. He has to go through mental examination, because he poses a danger to himself and poses a danger to society. Therefore, we don't need such people that may actually attract a certain bad devices that may bring the country on their knees just because someone wants a job. That's not the way to go. When you want a job, you apply, and when you are accepted, good lucky you. But when you haven't, try another day, because that's how it is. You don't go and swing on a pole.
He actually applied, Wamkeleba. I'm told you. I'm informed he was left out. We are told that he applied to Zambia Army. I don't know how true
was
it is.
he left out deliberately? Because they have the Zambia Army. They have also procedures.
But
and
was
they
he
have
the only one who was left out?
Yeah. So should everyone that was left out go and swing on the pole, on the tower? That's not okay. That's not the way it's supposed to be, and he deserves to be reprimanded for that. And if anything, he needs to be punished for that, because it's not. It is illegal. One, the owners of the tower, they also have to be approached to see how secure are their towers. Secondly, the owners of the tower can also
No, the tower is secured. I know it very well. The tower is secured.
but he
There's a wire fence. There's even a gate.
But he managed to trespass. So that's another crime. Now trespass is a criminal offense. So there are so many ways of catching a rat. So he can be, if he scot free in the area of wanting to commit suicide, then there is another issue to do with the trespass to the property. That's a prohibited area. It's not for everyone. He is unqualified. He's not a telephone company guy who has the certificate to go up and work on those on such height levels. So he already has abrogated the law. And for trespass, secondly, probably there are so many cases. We can find more cases for him. But otherwise, that was foolish, and he needs to be punished. You cannot protest in that manner. No.
And wasting government resources. No,
only freedom of expression. This is not what we meant. Because very soon we'll start seeing when Chirufya Tayari going Pafindeko house.
Okay.
I want.
All right, thank you so much. We do appreciate Hiba. Thank you so much. And just in case you are just joining us, welcome aboard. This is my point of view on Ubuntu channel. And remember, the views that are being expressed right here are based on any individual. And we invite you to actually make your views known to the people out there. Let's get to the next story, and we do see you on the other side.
It is the biggest public university on the Copper Belt, but CBU is usually subjected to vandalism, especially during student unrest. And just 2 months ago, some infrastructure here were damaged by students during a riot. This was after 2 of their colleagues died on the spot after being hit by a speeding vehicle near the campus. Management has imposed a 500 kwacha penalty fee on all students for the alleged destruction of private and university property during the riot.
As student leaders and collectively as students, we've acknowledged the damage that was done on the 25th of June, which a riot erupted. And we as students acknowledge that damage was done, and we acknowledge that we have to compensate.
However, the student populace has pleaded with management to be considerate.
However, we're not disputing the fact that we have to compensate, but we are appealing to management that the money could be reduced to a reasonable amount of figure.
It is the biggest
story as regards, compensation of the damage that was caused by the students, from Copperbelt University. Let me invite you, Himba, to react first to this, story.
Thank you so much, Chaza. Chaza, for me, this story is a straightforward issue. When we send children to school, we don't send them to go and be agents of vandalism. No. And I think when I see such things, my heart bleeds. These are students from higher institutions of learning, one of the highest institutions of learning in our country. And, at Vanabunka Muzao, two of their friends were accidentally killed by an over-speeding car. What does that has to do with the institutions, structures, and properties? Those students were, wherever they were coming from, they were hit by a car. It's an accident. Somebody maybe was carelessly driving. So what does that has to do with the properties of the school? And how does it affect them for them to start causing, to start demonstrating? What were they demonstrating about? These are highly educated people who should be able to analyze a situation and who should lead by example. Above all, they should act in a responsible manner. So what is the connection between the two colleagues who were killed and they are demonstrating? And if they were airing their grievances to the government, what is the government supposed to do in this situation? I think for me, whatever measures has been taken by the authorities from the school, I stand with them. Probably aba bantu bakuma university bazaleka ivama demonstration unnecessarily. Yes, demonstrating is their right, but they should do it in a right way. Because me, I don't see the connection. We actually condemn the overspeeding car, and we are definitely sorry for the loss of 2 lives, and which maybe they would have been one of our leaders or maybe very, very, very influential people in our society. It is a great loss on the country and on the families as well. It is a great loss on the families and the community. But the act the student took towards this matter, it was not right. It was wrong. So in AMA 500, let them pay. Whether you were involved or not, probably it will send a message to them, and it will also impart some discipline towards such behaviors in the higher institutions of learning. I submit, Chaz.
Thank you so much, Himba. We do appreciate it. Mr. Mkelewai.
Well, Himba has put it clearly. It's a straightforward issue, and the students themselves, they've acknowledged, they've accepted having caused a lot of damage during their protest with their riotous behavior. Like Himba has put it, to say we expect a good response from the highly educated, the higher institution of learning. We're supposed to have reasonable responses or reasonable reaction towards the death of their colleagues, but by going to start distracting or destroying properties as a sign of protest against the death of their friend, to me, you cannot solve a problem by creating another problem. That's what they did. So they are liable and they have to pay whatever amount of money that they are lucky that they have been told to compensate, to pay back. Or else they were going to be all wind up and be charged with criminal offenses where they're going to face jail sentences. Are they going to finish their degrees while in police or in prison? So this approach by the administration is a very good approach, where they are simply paying an extra for what they did. Sometimes it's okay to punish individuals, paying, compensating for the damages that they have made, especially when they had a choice not to go and destroy the infrastructure. They had a choice, but they took it to them in their own hands. So by you lifting a stone, that's the choice you're making. By you throwing that stone and break a property cost a lot of money, that's a choice that you've made, and you need to pay for it. Nobody else should come. Just because you are many does not mean that you are not. Then you can be, you can run away from a crime. You will be picked. You can pay collectively as the whole institution, as the students. You are going to feel the pain, and that's why you are busy requesting for lenience. Were you considering lenience when you were picking the stones to break? If you had taken those issues into consideration, probably management will also feel lenient, but you did not. You did it with malice. We did it with the intention to destroy. So when you have done something with the intention, the malice aforethought, then you are liable and you need to pay. So you are lucky that they have been charged in a civil way where they are given bills that they have to pay. Otherwise, they ought to be locked up, all of them. It's possible. You can be locked up for a criminal liability case. But in this case, you are lucky that the management decided to slap a figure on every student. So just pay, and then you move on. Next time, when one is talking of breaking things, remember, sit in your room, lock yourself, don't take part, or else you're going to pay more. It is you at the end of the day who's going to feel the pinch. I rest my case.
Thank you so much. I think it's a positive development if, there's such a punitive measure. This would be a deterrent, for the future would-be, offenders. Let's proceed and take a look at the next story.
Not even the heavy presence of police officers could stop businessman Shadrack Kasanda express his displeasure when he was ordered to sit in the police vehicle shortly after his appearance before the Lusaka Magistrate Court Friday afternoon.
Come on,
Let him sit down here. Yes.
This afternoon, Mr. Kasanda, Jim Belem, Mulungu Oswald and commercial pilot Patrick Kawanu appeared before Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chiwili in relation to an alleged corrupt practice case. The case was, however, not heard this morning after the court observed some anomalies, among those that the 9 Egyptians the 4 were recently arrested with have not been formally charged and were not before court. The 4 were recently arrested with the 9 Egyptians in connection to an alleged gold scandal involving $5.7 million United States dollars, which was intercepted by the Drug Enforcement Commission at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport on Monday. Speaking to the media shortly after the court session, Lusaka lawyer Martha Mshipe says procedure to see the release of her clients on bond is being undertaken.
At this particular time, because of the irregularities that have been found with the indictment, the court cannot proceed because the other 9 accused persons are not before the courts of law and they have not been formally charged. The people that have been charged are only 4 of them, and the Zambians are the ones that have been charged. So as such, we want our clients to be given the necessary, whether police bond or bail.
Council Mshipe also disclosed to the media that among the Egyptians arrested, some have been admitted to the hospital.
Apparently, there's nothing of the sort. It appears that the Egyptians have been taken to the hospital. Some of them are not well, so they have been allowed to have access to medical facilities. But on the other hand, you also have the Zambians who are, who are fixed aboard. And
another day for the four to spend in custody, while the lawyers give them an assurance of securing a bond or bail for them. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Kamne TV News.
We have a story that has been trending, during the course of the week. Story about, that popular businessman. Mr. Kelewai, do come first.
Thank you so much, Chaza. It is important for the law enforcement to follow proper procedures and treat individuals with the respect they need when the dignity, even when using restraints. So the gentleman who was busy blasting, I don't know whether he was blasting the police officers, he was refusing to obey the instructions. Sometimes that itself, it is what brings the animosity, creates animosity between the suspects and the law enforcers. So in my humble request or advice, I would suggest that when you are suspected to have committed a crime and you are now under the custody of the authority, the law enforcers, it is imperative to obey instructions as they are, unless the instruction that you are given are illegal and are illegal, and you feel you cannot be forced to do those things. That's when you can either call your lawyer to come and help you, and then you proceed from there, or put up a complaint. But for as long as you are under police custody, the police themselves have the right over you. They can instruct you to do things that are within their scope of the law. So Miriamia Skilea Chiras Komlumendo, he was being sarcastic as well. When you are arrested, we know that there is this presumption of innocence. You are innocent until proven guilty. But that time, when you are under police custody, anything that happens to you, your safety becomes prime factor to the police, to the arresting officer. You want to sit on the whatever that on the car, and you are sitting in a van, an open van, and you want to sit on the other part where it is not safe, and someone, because he cares about your health, he cares about your safety, he tells you to sit down so that you are secured, because we don't even have seat belts in those cars. And then you go and respond and you start challenging the person who is helping you. If anything, the gentleman was being helped, but he took it in a very wrong way, because he is already thinking in his head that he's being persecuted. When they are helping him, if anything, the officers there were helping him. If anything, this is where I was trying to say, I think about our police officers are now losing it. What happened to the police where you arrest somebody, you have to keep them in handcuffs? Because those guys are supposed to be handcuffed. What happens if those chaps decide to scamper the different directions? Or what happens if the vehicle they are traveling in involved in an accident? How are those chaps going to be secured? So, and you shouldn't be transporting suspects in an open van. You look at the traffic laws, our traffic people that sit in a van. It's only us in Africa where we can sit anywhere. Those are not secured. The vans are not for people to sit like that. Vans are for properties that you can tie with a rope. You know, people, they have to sit inside the car where the seat belt is. So to me, already that is the red flag. One, the suspect was not handcuffed. He was not secured. Even the police officers' lives were in danger there. The women, I saw the women who were standing, you know. What happens? The guys can even push the officer when the car is moving. How safe are you, Wakapokola? Think about your health. Think about yourself. Once something is done, it's unreversible. Once you are pushed out of that moving vehicle by a criminal suspect who doesn't want to be arrested, those chaps, they have followers. Those chaps who are arrested or are suspect criminals, they have followers that are not happy. Some have businessmen who are not happy with what has happened. Their money is going to be now, they're going to suffer a great loss. Their business is going, everything. So how do you protect yourself with such kind of people? They can kill you. Your lives can be in danger and you cannot reverse it once something has happened. So, but you can prevent such things from happening to occur by protecting yourself in the first place and secure the criminal suspect also themselves. Transporting criminals in an open van, please, officers, government, if you are listening, it is not safe for both the police officers and the suspect. Not safe at all. Movies. If the criminals, those guys, you even impounded a plane that even had guns. If those are mafias, you guys, can you stand the fire cross in such kind of open van? That's why Mkufa, Mongama, Bami Payan, like that. So protect yourselves. Your lives are very important than crimes. Protect yourself first so that you are secured and you move on and protect the suspect so that you can have a job to wake up to tomorrow. So think about this, my officers, our officers, please. We know our men and women in uniform, you are working hard, tirelessly. You put your lives alone on the lines, but please secure your lives too. Stop transporting criminal suspects in open van like that one. It's dangerous, and please secure suspects. Cuff them. You don't know. They may sound angel, they may look humble, they may look innocent. You never know who you are arresting, what his thoughts or her thoughts are in the mind of a police. You can be in danger, so be careful. Otherwise, that's my take. Ndalumba.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mkilewa. Himba, what's your viewpoint?
Thank you so much, Chaza. First and foremost, the guy is not a criminal. He's still a suspect. In our country, the law says you are innocent until proven guilty. So at that particular time, he's still innocent until they prove him guilty. However, his behavior was literally not acceptable. And I don't even understand why he was arrogant, because apparently that police officer, Zum Kilevai, has said he was looking after him. He was like, Muze Nankalipansi, Chimagwa. And he was like, Nini. You know, I think for me, there's also, because this is my personal view, and my thinking is he was trying to push an agenda of human rights there, because he's still innocent. He's not yet, that's why he was saying, Sindine Kawalala, Sinabe. So probably he's pushing a narrative of human rights, how he was handled during that period. And then he even went further. Sinili Buino in it. sitting a kale pants, I'm not fine. But eventually he sat down. So basically there's a narrative they're trying to push the human rights to say how was he handled when he was being carried to the police station. But however, the police officers, I respect them. I salute them the way they handled that case, the way they handled him, because I'm sure he wanted to say, all those. Kulila kwe, he thought he would cry, but Wakapokola, they literally avoided that. But again, in his behavior, I feel somehow he was actually abusing the police officers. The way he was answering, he was actually like he was in charge of the situation. So for me, I think it's something which even the police officers should have not tolerated. But they were a bit lenient, maybe because they are a police service and they are not a force. But then he was actually provoking the situation. And as I said, I salute the police officers because they didn't fall for his trap. They didn't fall for whatever he was calling for. Maybe he was expecting to Azamcha Mambama Bazamcha, then it goes against human rights. But they didn't go that route. Above all, we are so proud of the police officers that they've managed to apprehend such culprits like him. And I believe the offense he has not started today. And he's been doing that. He's used into that game. And the police officers, keep it up. The good job you are doing to arrest, and with all the agencies you are working with, we are proud of you. Please keep it up, the good job you are doing for the country. And Tepa Kuleka. Thank you, Chaza.
Right, Hima, thank you so much. I think you have both put it right, and it needs no additional subtraction. Without much ado, we actually, proceed to the next story. And just in case you've just joined us on this program, you are watching or following My Point of View on our Ubuntu channel. And in case you'd like to join us and add your voice to the stories that we do present to you, you can simply get to click on the link that we have shared right in the comment section, and you'll be right with us on set. In case you'd like only to make a comment, and you can simply get to do that right in the comment section, and we'll be glad to read your comment right here. Let's get to the next story.
The debate on the need for Republican President Hakainde Hichilema to publicly declare his assets and liabilities continues as Opposition Patriotic Front presidential aspirant Dr. Chishimba Kambuli gives a 5-day ultimatum in which to declare his assets. Dr. Kambuli said this shortly after his court appearance at the Lusaka Subordinate Court.
Umuntu ngakano kushita declare assets and liabilities as president nishaleiba pantalefu abantu beshiwe indalama isanasho nesho akafuma nasho so mubebe nalibe batu wapapa kalama na bapela 5 days bachite declare my assets na liabilities kaidi bale imfuati bandalama no mangoli wandalama nishule filo kweba abantu indalama wakwata umuntu ngaletino kweba abantu indalama wakwata nishi paliefi aleti tamafisa kanwa bagwatilwa kesa atweba aketukeseba tiyo bali bandalama nga muli bandalama chachi neshukulu tulange ni ndalama mwakwata ifi mwakano kushita declare ine palwandi ndeba titsaiza tamwakwata olupia nangu muleba. Two things. So bakainde, this is a serious matter.
Meanwhile, Dr. Kambuli has urged the UPND administration to quickly address the escalating price of mini meal. He has also called on President Hakainde Hichilema to quickly move to Kwazi House at State House to cut expenses on his daily movement amidst economic challenges the country is facing.
Balelanda tumutengo wabunga nga wanina nishintungulushita yako atamano tayako ata capacity ya kuteke chalo ilo balelanda efyo bunga bwali 120 kwacha ile lo bunga buli 305 kwacha so nishibale tweba na wobe natabako atamano bantu bale baba alipwa tubunga nga bwanina nishintungulushita yako atamano tayakwata na capacity ya kuteeka ekyalo so muyebeba mulefu atutampi okuba tawakwata mano pantu efe balelanda tatulefwayo efe bakatwikate atumwatuka bakayinde baweesha obunga abantu balekyula secondly muyebeba bakayinde ichilema ngelanda efe mukibemba bakutuba omufwikishe ukutila bakuukile ku state house enganda bafiire okwikalako balekyo okulaba kita inconvenience abantu abaleya kunchito olukyero lyonse bapolisi n'abeesala emisebo abantu balekyerwa kunchito abaana balekyerwa ku masukulu omulandu wa muntu omwo leadership is not about an individual.
Earlier, Dr. Kambuli appeared before High Court Judge Lamek Mwale in relation to a matter he's accused of defaming the former President Edgar Lungu. 2 witnesses testified this morning in his defense. They told Judge Mwale that the Bemba phrases used by Dr. Kambuli on former President Edgar Lungu were not insults. Allegations before court are that between the 26th and 27th of August 2019, Dr. Kambuli, with intent to bring the former president's name into contempt, hatred and ridicule, issued derogatory remarks against the former head of state and alleged that he was moving aimlessly and would visit any country whenever he was invited. The court has set the 13th of September 2023 as Judgment Day. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Kamne TV News.
Right on. I think the only question that I would ask is, the ultimatum, 5 days ultimatum. In what capacity, was he giving that ultimatum? That's the question that I do have. Himba, you can come first to actually give us, your viewpoints as regards this story.
Thank you so much, Chaza. Chaza, in Pali Basike, Batata Basike, I usually find it difficult to comment because his checks and balances, most of his checks and balances are personal, and the language he uses, even if he calls his friends, his language, it doesn't portray a leader the way he speaks. And whenever he's doing what he's in front of the camera, his language is strong, is personal. The checks and balances, you'd even fail to see what is he talking about here. And as he's sending message to the Republican president, where he says, Mukabebe bahaka inde we should also, even those who are closer to him, I'm also sending a message. They should also talk to Kulibatata Bakambwili that this kind of politics he has, they are fading away. We are no longer interested in politics of character assassination. We are no longer interested in politics of using vulgar language. We are no longer interested. We want politics where people bring issue-based, and where checks and balances are going to be done to advise or to add value to the development of the country, not where you're targeting. Because he may have a point. He may be right, but it's the way he puts it, which puts, some of us off. Like, ngabali kwa tendalama, balanda tubali kwa tendalama. That is, if he wants the president to declare the assets, let him just say, may the president declare assets according to the constitution. So then he goes personal. Ngabali kwa tendalama, ngabalanda tubali kwa tendalama. We all know President HH is fair, comfortable financially. So it's not something, and we are not going to debate about President HH is wealthy. That is not our interest. If President HH has not declared the assets he has, let him declare, because the constitution demands so. Full stop. If you ever we are not interested in that. Let CK stand up and speak on our behalf to let the Republican president to follow what the constitution says. Full stop. So if we are not even interested. We know that he's fairly comfortable financially. So we are not even interested. We were interested in the development and the issues that affects the country. If he's talking about the president moving to State House, let him come. The State House is made for the president. State House is the way he's coming out. Sometimes it's difficult to comment, Pama. The way he comes out on issues, it's very, very difficult. And
looks like Himba has halted due to connectivity, challenges. Himba, we can barely get you, and unfortunately, she has been, booted out. Mr. Mukelewai, your take.
Thank you. Well, anything that comes from the mouth of that gentleman is, can you hear me? Sorry, I pressed the wrong button.
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Mukelewai.
Okay. Anything that comes out of the mouth of Chishimba Kambwili should never be taken as gospel truth and should never be considered, people should not even take it. We know what he is up to. We know what he is after, and he is the man that is no longer credible to the Zambian people. Those are finished product of politicians who are now just using rhetorics and verbal assaults on individuals that are running institutions. We know that's the character of a person that we have. Already his character, Kambwili, has already been dented the moment he started talking about tribalism, the moment he started insulting the president. By then, Edgar Changwalungu, you can tell he was standing in front of the court, coming out from a case of defaming a president. And he comes out and stands in front of the court, again goes back to the same old habits, wanting now to target the current president. So, Uakalema, Takaleka, he will continue. And I was even wondering, because I heard some of the audios where he was shouting at one gentleman by one of his boys, the former PF, at Mr. Ground, I don't know, something like, he was yelling at him, telling him, what you are doing is not okay. You are not. Yet himself, he does the same. He's actually probably the one who has even been teaching those boys how to rant on social media. And when they do that, he feels that it's not okay. So Wokambwili is just a finished product of a politician who, one, was fired. If we are to borrow his way of talking, because that's what these guys need. They cannot stand in a reasonable conversation. So how you respond to such people, you have to reduce yourself to their level and respond with the rhetoric as well, or respond at their level, because you also rant. We also go on character assassinations. You start also responding the way that's what they want. Unfortunately, they have been failing. They've tried, and they found that the gentleman they are after, he is not even responding to them. They keep on giving, they keep on trying to fish so that they could get his response in a negative way, like they are doing. But they're getting something. All they're getting is muteness, is quiet. The president is minding his own business. Because there was a matter already in court. The Constitutional Court had even suggested, ordered, if you want to know about the presidential candidates, the president's assets, you know what happened when they were busy nominating or filing in their nominations at the electoral. Go yourself, go who is it, and find out. Every president, including Wozikambwili, part of the Beneshoni Tembo, everyone declared their assets. why can't they go and find information about the president's declaration of his information and by then he was just he was even in a opposition. He was not the head of state. Lelo atiyo tueveni Kambwili is just is a dramatist, and he put it himself. He called himself a lunatic. So who are we not to call him the same? So we can simply say, Wakalamba, teka nyeni, teke namatako panshi, ikale nifye. Ime political career yenu, rewind. Go back kuli Savoy Imboela and tell her, Mami, help me. I've lost contact. Because Savoy Imboela has even gotten more professional and more matured, unlike Venaba president, Aba Pele, Aba Fuminepo Babu DC, you know. So, but Chishimba Kambwili, he is a person that will just be there as a mouthpiece that is full of profanities, full of hate, full of those kind of speeches where he will be opening, he wants to be talking on top of his voice. That's the kind of politics that he claims he is doing, checks and balances. Yet, tapalina information about the land. Why can't he talk about the judgment, constitution, about the constitution, the Concord, how it came out with Johnny Tembo's, when Johnny Tembo went to ask the court about the assets of a particular presidential candidate, HH. So you can tell that tababerenga no kuberenga abantu abalanda fye baikala pale pene pambiribiri ati them they think that's the kind of politics that the Zambian people today want. Unfortunately, Wakambwili, you're wasting your time and energy. You can't. One, the PF Naba Misula, you attacked Uyu Lungu. You are the reason. You actually contributed, you and the GBM, you are the biggest contributor of Lungu's failure. You make sure that he went down, you know, and today, the same person, you want to come and be a professional. You advise us, the Zambian people, on if you have Vunga. He was on the media talking about Ubunga, about the PF tapasoswa, mwebena chalo tapasoswa. Busy speaking ama Bemba idioms. Lelo iso wambo kolanda ati Ubunga shanishan. Come on, Chimba Kambwili. Be original. Be real. What you are doing, you are just endorsing your ignorance to the rest of the country. We cannot entertain that. The constituency of the people that were following such kind of rhetoric are no more. Not even the new generation, the millennials, they can't even follow you because you are a person that is bordering on bordering your political career on attacking other people's credibility. You cannot do that. That's not leadership. And you want to be the president with such kind of behavior. You expect the Zambian people to even come and vote for you. You're wasting your energy and your time, Bawish. Go back to the drawing board, start afresh. First, stay for some time, and go and, learn, enroll yourself into some school, even Kanite school, political. Probably you come back as a person that can be able to exercise proper checks and balance, not if you're kulanda, threatening, character assassinating other people. Read before you start opening your mouth. Read about the court decisions. Read, ask your lawyers, and speak through. Please, Bakambwili, find a secretary, a personal secretary that can be helping you, with information, because you are lacking. You are still in the olden days. Things have moved, my brother. Hakainde Hichilema, the one you're busy attacking, has moved away from that kind of politics. He is actually walking the talk. Imwe mwashara fe muri mwamoneni. So, I'm sorry, my brother. You are just wasting your energy and time. Stop spreading your ignorance to the people of Zambia. Read and come to the Zambian people and tell them the facts, not if you're familiar for Kwamo Kuchita spread. Stop this. It's a nonsense to me. I believe even to some of the Zambians who believe in what we know about our current presidents.
Mr. Mkelewa, I'll cut you short at this point in time. Your network is not good. I hope on the other side of the next story we'll be able to actually. Yeah.
My network. My apologies. My network is not okay. Otherwise, let me end there.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
Bakam, we must just grow up. That's all. That's the only advice I can give you. You just need to grow up.
I'm under the impression that on the other side of the next story, probably the next could have stabilized. We are having, challenges. Even Himba was actually, ejected out due to connectivity. Regardless of that, we do appreciate that you are still with us following the program. Let's take a look at the next story. There we have it. Himba, are you here with us?
Yes, I am, Chaza.
Okay, please do add your voice to the story that we are from viewing.
Chaza, before I come in, I'd maybe probably suggest maybe you can say something about that story, because I don't think people are able to get the message from that story.
Okay, I'll request the director to kindly replay the story. Maybe we can get more information from there.
No, probably we have the information about it, but I don't think the viewers the way it is now. It's just coming the way there's not much information. Okay, however, I can go ahead.
Yeah, just narrate what happened. Then you can, since you know the information, tell us.
It's the ECL in Tuareg, which was not allowed to enter into the tradition ceremony by the UPND cadre. But my opinion would be, to my sisters and brothers, that act was not right. ECL is a Zambian like another person, and he has to enjoy all the rights as a human being. Despite being our former president, he also has the rights and the privileges he has to enjoy. We know we've come from a background where it has been very rough. It has not really been a good background. But I mean, let's put things straight. We'll not put things straight by doing wrong things as well. So my advice is that let's allow the former president attend this ceremony as a Zambian. Let's give him the respect he deserves as a Zambian. But also caution to the former president that, Zambian people are still hating. Some are still even mourning from what we've been through. our former president should understand that a lot of people were injured in the PF. No matter how he's going to sugarcoat, chocolate coat his leadership injured a lot of people, or a lot of people were injured under his leadership. If I were him, or if I was closer to him, I would have told him actually to stay away from public life for now and let him attend such ceremonies as a VIP he is, with state protection. This narrative he's pushing, where we don't know whether he's in active politics or he's not in active politics, it's actually not doing good to the Zambian people, because what he says is different, what he does is different. So basically, it's not settling well with the Zambian people. We really want peace, we want unity in our country, and as he is the former president of Zambia, may he be the invoice, or may he be in the front line to make sure that we have peace, we have unity in our country. Because I'm sure people are acting from the previous regime, from what things they went through, or what Zambian people went through. So if he will keep on pushing, forcing himself on the Zambian people, trying to court his leadership with chocolate, that it was the best leadership, people benefited, people did what, he's causing more harm than good. But my sisters and brothers, let's treat the former president with respect. Let's allow him to enjoy the human rights. The rest, let's leave them to the law enforcers. Let's leave them to the right institutions. Taking the law in our own hands will not help us. And if we want to change and make Zambia a better place for everyone to live in, let's be the agency for that change we want. I end here, Chaza.
Thank you so much, Himba. We do appreciate, and you have actually, added life to the story, as it were. I don't know, Mr. Mkelwa, is that clear enough for you to actually react?
No, actually, I think Himba has put it already, and she knew the story. That's what we should just hold on to and move on to the next. Thank you.
Right.
Otherwise, if I just wanted to say, if those were UPND cadres and doing that to the vehicle of the former Republican president, I think that was a little bit too much. They are not supposed to do that. Zambia is for everyone, and we should move on than doing that kind of. Let the authorities, if they want to refuse Lungu ECL to enter a place, it is them, not you as followers or as individuals. Just let things flow, and don't break the law. Otherwise, you'll be no different from the previous cadres that we refused. So don't paint a bad picture of a political party that we chose, that we thought was going to bring difference in our country. Thank you.
Just on the other hand, Kelebai, it will be really, there's a narrative which I want all of us to agree on, or which I am advocating. This idea of saying the UPND cadres, the PF cadres, I think for me will be unfair to a certain political party, whichever. Because I don't agree that from just in these 2 years, the PF cadres, from the pangas, the guns, all that, they can change today and be a darling, and then they automatically, the UPND cadres, for me, these are the same people. It could be UPND. So for me, I think, let's just say cadres. I'm sure there are these cadres, some they are from the PF, some are from the UPND. Can't give a nice activity, they just jump on what is entertaining. Even when they just jump what is entertaining, everyone they go there. So let's just take it that our national cadres, our country cadres.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Himba. We do appreciate, just to mention, knowing Precious Mwanza, we greatly appreciate, to know that you are following through Facebook. Let's take a look at one more story, then we take reactions and make conclusion for tonight.
About 80% of Zambia's plastic wastes ends up in the environment, posing a threat to the ecosystem. This is the reason 15-year-old Safi Chiwe is on a mission to reduce plastic pollution by turning to production of durable pavers from plastics. The plastic pavers are her third innovation, as she explains how this will help keep the environment clean and safe.
Biodegradables do make our environment dirty, but those can rot. They have a lesser effect than these that have chemicals that destroy the soil fertility. So I decided to make plastic pavers. So this is my model of the plastic pavers. My first try was with a bit of quarry stones, and my second try was just 100% plastic, so both can work.
She wants to perfect her innovation and has explained the difference between the plastic pavers and the common brick pavers.
When we get a hammer and break this, it can break. Just get a hammer and hit on it, it will break. But if you hit on this one, it won't break because of the fact that it's plastic and the fact that it has been compacted to be had.
An environmentalist and Citizens Environmental and Social Concern Director has commended this initiative.
In a country where we do not have any formal recycling programs like Zambia, any alternatives or any solution or invention or any initiative to see to it that reduce plastic pollution is more than welcome. Okay, we need support in such kind of programs to see to it that we reduce the amount of plastic that is going to our landfills and dump sites.
Experts have further called for enhanced partnerships and innovations that will tackle plastic pollution, such as this initiative. Ruth Chainda, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
It's a great innovation coming from Safi there, and if it can be done on a large scale, it can help in actually ridding of plastics that are so, degrading on the environment. Let me invite you, Himba, to come first as you give us your opinion.
Thank you so much, Chaza. That is really fantastic and really, interesting and exciting to see as young female Zambian coming out with such an initiative, which is really very brilliant. All I would say that may the relevant authority support the little girl. Whatever she's doing, I think it's so wonderful and encouraging. And above all, it's that she's also supporting the cleanliness of our country. Just talking about the cleanliness. Look at the way the country is dirty, and the little child has come up with a very good initiative. I think it's worth supporting. It's worth encouraging her so that she can actually expand and be able to use that initiative at a large scale and also contribute to our development and sanity of our country. Well done, young girl. Keep it up. Don't give up. Not even the sky is the limit. I rest my case, Chaza.
Thank you so much, Himba. We are talking girl power as regards this particular innovation. Mr. Mkelai.
Well, thank you so much, Chaza. That girl, I think the young generation is really trying to prove the old generation wrong. We have tried to come up with initiatives, and we are failing as the old generation. We are busy polluting our own environment, complaining of the dates, complaining of the blockages, suffering drainage blockages every year. We complain of the same problems over and over. And here is a child who was born yesterday, comes in with such a wonderful, innovative idea. And I know some of the Zambians, instead of emulating and putting that girl on top of the map, we want to destroy our dreams. We want to bring her down because we are dream killers. We want to promote that girl. We want to see the Minister of Small Scales and whatever, those entrepreneur, come forward. Those are the people that you need to chase and revamp their businesses. That's a very wonderful idea. Me, I've been thinking of, why can't we have someone, for example, we suffer the same problems day in, day out, you know. Kumarabo kwali sula takweli na kwa kuposera if so. So the question is, how do we prevent this from happening tomorrow? So why can't we come up with the ideas? And we're busy thinking, new generation, baby that was born yesterday, look at what she has done. That effort she has made should not just be ignored. This is where we need to come in. Won't say, if we are to challenge all the millennials today, I promise you they are going to surprise you and me, we the old folks, because these chaps, they are very good at innovative and they are clever in their mind. So let us support that child. Let us support and emulate. And when we talk of emulation, takuli factor just because in way because that's the mentality Zambians have. All they want is to have me, myself, and I. Let me be the one. Let me be the one. We don't know how to support. The way that girl has come up with that initiative, let us push her. Let us push her higher. Let us support and revamp that business so that it could grow at a higher level, the higher scale. Instead of us avoiding looking the other way around, you go and start praising the gold dealers. No, let us support that program. It is more better than gold, and it's gonna save more lives than fake gods. So my appeal to the Zambian people: stop killing our dreams. Support our.
Mr. Mkeleva, your network is not as good at this point. So
okay.
Let us direct. I'm kindly requesting if we can have one more story, because we still have little time to take us to the climax of the program.
You're okay, right?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is important to note is that as a nation, asset recovery is the drive. So here it is. We promised you we're going to bring the second one, and here it is. I think for now, I really just want to thank the other agencies, especially the Zambia Air Force. They have been really shoulder to shoulder with us, and we've managed to bring this. So whatever assets are outside, no big deal. We'll bring them back. Just like the President was saying in the presser today, these borders don't count to us. If you get it from here, wherever you take it, we'll follow. Already two are here. You never know what else we're going to bring for you.
The two institutions worked together to ensure that we got the two helicopters. One was in Zimbabwe and it came earlier. And now today we have the bigger one coming. And we worked together using ARINSA as well, the interagency network for Southern African countries, to ensure that they helped us, they gave us a cooperation, because without them, we could not have done this.
There we have it. They are saying, regardless of where the assets are, they will definitely be followed and be retrieved. That was, the director from, DEC. Let's have you, Mr. Mgelewa, to come first. Your viewpoint.
Thank you so much. Is my network clear?
Still struggling. Let's see how it goes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chaza. When we tell you people to say this government walk the talk, and you think we are joking, and you think it's just rhetoric, I am so delighted that in the past few weeks or the past months, we have seen how a lot of assets that has been seized and a lot of asset recoveries that has been brought to back home. And now we even have some monies that we are busy impounding. And the fake gold impounding. Scammers, they are being caught red-handed. Meaning, were these things not happening in Zambia? Why are they happening now? It's because of leadership. When you have the true leadership, you will see, and the leadership is committed and have the political power, the political will to fight crimes. This is why you see what we are seeing today. This is not magic. There are people behind this working tirelessly. And the Drug Enforcement Commission, they are doing a tremendous job. The Anti-Corruption Commission and all law enforcers, they are doing their job perfectly without any interferences and without segregating anybody. They don't care who is involved. Even if you are part of the government, you are still serving as a government and you are involved in corrupt activities, they will simply come to you and get whatever they'll get from you, even arrest you. So the Zambian, thank you, Mr. President, with your team, and especially the law enforcers. Thank you for your professional work, and please keep up the good work. We want to recover as much properties that we lost as possible, and the money. And at the same time, my message also go to the judiciary. Please, the judges, we cannot tell you how to convict criminals. We cannot tell you what to do, how to do your job. But we are hopefully that you are going to hand in good judgments, either sentences or exoneration, acquittals, accordingly, without any favors or without any interferences. But what we want to see is cases being expedited and convict and those who are guilty being convicted, and not to my conviction to my 2 days, to my 1 week, to my chan. Please.
Right.
Let me do
allow me to cut short there and invite Himba to also react before we conclude.
Thank you so much, Chaza. All I would say is that bravo to the all institution involved, and thank you so much for recovering our assets, or for recovering the assets on behalf of the Zambian people. I'm so happy because the first time when the other one came from Zimbabwe, they promised that the other one will come from South Africa, and it has come. Thank you for keeping your promise, and please keep it up, the good job you are doing. And we are so happy that a lot of things that used to happen in the darkness, now we are able to see them. There are a lot of things, and I'm sure there are a lot of things that happened. When we are living village, cross some borders, and to Atotera, we are so grateful to everyone who is involved and who is adding value to the development and protection of the assets of Mother Zambia. Zambia is all we have. Let us make it a better place to live for everyone, and let us keep these assets, the national assets, for the future generations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure having you, Mr. Mkelawai and Himba right here. Not forgetting the people that have been following up there. This is my point of view on Ubuntu channel and your host. My name is Chaza. Till next time, we're saying God bless you all.